Here now, Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor. Christian, we got a lot of issues to talk about here. Let's start with Ukraine. We saw reports today. Look, maybe the White House is going to ask Ukraine to cede some of that territory in eastern Ukraine. The White House, Jen Psaki, denying that flatly. Your read on all of that?
For this is one instance, and perhaps a rare instance, in which I actually believe Jen Psaki. I just find it hard to believe, since the Biden administration somewhat recklessly has been almost egging on Ukraine, leaving Ukraine with the impression we would do almost anything. We're trying to get it into NATO, even though there aren't a lot of common interests between Ukraine and other NATO members, certainly not the United States. So in this instance, I actually do believe the White House when they said they did not urge Ukraine to cede territory. Incidentally, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, haven't asked for any territory, at least not yet.
So in the backdrop of all of this now is this summit for democracy, Christian. President Biden trying to get out ahead, I guess, and build support for what he's trying to do with Russia and elsewhere. But, you know, you look at what happened in Afghanistan, you look at some of the weakness at home on his policy. Is he in a position to provide leadership on democracy at this point?
No, and that's the problem. If you look for big breakthroughs for freedom in the world, which results in better security for America, like the collapse of the Eastern Bloc and the Soviet Union, it's when the United States was strong. And we're anything but strong now. This Summit for Democracy that they call it, it's basically like a woke version of the Soviet Comintern. We're trying to export neoliberal woke values. The Secretary of State was addressing activists, and he talked up climate change, migrants, structural racism. So this is just an excuse basically to criticize the United States and other democracies that actually stand for freedom and human rights, and they've refused to invite countries like Hungary and Singapore. Also, they've refused to invite the Gulf monarchies that stand strong against radical Islam, political Islam. It's really a way to back into a Biden foreign policy, since they don't really have one.
Christian, I got to ask you, when you look at a country like China or Russia and you see the president trying to lead through summit or lead through committee, what kind of read does a regime like the Chinese regime make on that? How does that change or affect the way they think about what they're going to do next?
It's pretty simple. They look at it as a senator who's out of his depth. I mean, for most senators, it's a big deal to have a hearing. It's a big deal to get up and stand for something and, you know, make a statement from a microphone, and people will write it down. Journalists pay attention to senators. It's a whole different thing when it comes to running the executive branch. And so weakness can be very provocative. In fact, I think it's somewhat remarkable and speaks to their own caution that Xi Jinping in China hasn't invaded Taiwan and that Putin hasn't taken a bigger chunk of Ukraine, because when would a better time be than to do it now with the president like this?
Well, that's interesting. Let me ask you about this. A U.S. official warning there is a, quote, urgent need to bolster defenses in Taiwan amid signs that China wants to take over the island. You're saying you're surprised it didn't already happen. Clearly, the administration is paying attention to it. But that is the question, isn't it? At what point does the weakness become so compelling that a country like China says this is the moment? Are you expecting that in the very near term?
You know, I don't, because I think that inherently these, Putin and Xi haven't gotten to where they are because they're suckers. They're very cautious with the power they've accreted. And trying to take Taiwan would be a huge political risk for Xi Jinping. You'd have a lot of sons of party members potentially killed in a failed invasion. It's one thing for U.S. officials to say we ought to toughen up Taiwan. And the Trump administration did that, reversing years of neglect in what we were willing to sell them. And actually, we do sell them arms. We don't give them arms. But the question is, what's America going to do? Pulling out of Afghanistan, Biden said part of the point was to shift forces to Asia to deter China. There's nothing in that in what the administration has said, in anything they've said to Congress, and anything that Congress has passed. If anything, our power in the Pacific is shrinking as the Navy continues to shrink. And if you're serious about this, then let's have a joint military command with Taiwan. Let's bring in Japan and Australia in a joint command. It's not even any talk of that going on.
It just seems like one of those moments, Christian, where everybody senses there's a weakness, there's an opening. If you want to try something Russia, if you want to try something China, those regimes seem to think now is the moment. That is a scary thought. Christian, we got to leave it there, but always appreciate your perspective on world affairs. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.